Pregnancy is one hell of a wild ride. And I'm going to share the things I did not expect. I didn't expect any of this, but I'm going to share the top things I did not expect in pregnancy. I'm Juli Bauer Roth, the food, fitness, and lifestyle blogger behind PaleoMG. Welcome to my channel. I'm here to share my favorite food, workout, and wellness tips to help you live your best day in life. I've talked openly about my struggles with knowing if I would ever be a parent. I even shared a YouTube video about why we decided to have children after many years of never thinking that would be for me or for us. But when I did get pregnant, I expected it to be, a little bit easier, and not easy. I don't want to act like I thought it would be easy, but just easier. I thought I would enjoy it a little bit more. I thought I'd be able to embrace it a little bit more. But I can tell you that I have hated pregnancy. And it's hard to say that out loud because it makes you feel like you're very ungrateful. There are many people who would love to be in this position of being pregnant, who have struggled with infertility, who've gone through all kinds of different health issues or struggles and would love to be pregnant. So saying that you hate pregnancy triggers a lot of people. And because of that, it makes it very isolating. So not only do you feel guilty for not liking pregnancy, but then you feel guilty because you can't share it openly. So you stay within yourself, and then you have all these different hormonal issues going on at the same time, which can cause pregnancy depression, which I've struggled with my entire pregnancy. Pregnancy is hard. And it's not super hard for everybody. My best friend told me that some days she forgets she's pregnant. She's about 7 weeks ahead of me. And she's really enjoyed her pregnancy. And I've had a couple other friends who loved being pregnant. And I feel the complete opposite. And that's made me feel so saddened because I've had other friends that said, I wish I would have enjoyed my pregnancy more. So there's all this different noise coming at you. And you want to feel like you enjoy this stage of life that you may never have again. But then you don't. It is such muddy, mucky, tough waters. And I honestly don't think women get enough credit for how challenging pregnancy can be because, not everybody struggles. And so it's hard to understand what people are feeling when maybe you haven't gone through those struggles yourself if you have been pregnant or if you haven't. It is just tough waters out there. And I've found pregnancy incredibly hard. And I share this openly because I know I'll be judged and I know I'll get some shit for feeling that way or for not acting like it is this beautiful experience and being so grateful for every second along the way. But I share that because other people are going through that as well. And we talk so much these days in our society about being open with dialogue, about things you're struggling with, about going to therapy. The more we can share these things, the more we can help others know that they are not alone. But then if we speak openly about not enjoying pregnancy or postpartum, then we're just ungrateful people. But yet we're allowed to talk about our struggles in other capacities. It's a weird thing to navigate. So I want to speak openly about it because I know other people will connect with it. And if some people don't, that's okay too. That's just pregnancy in general. So today I wanted to share 5 things I did not expect in pregnancy. And the thing about these 5 things is you may never experience these things if you get pregnant or have been pregnant in the past. Because what I've learned from all the classes that I've taken and from experiencing pregnancy myself, no one pregnancy is alike. Even in a birth class I had just a couple weeks ago, they were saying, you may experience this or you may not experience it at all. Well, how the hell is that helpful during birth? It's all different. So I want to share these 5 things that I did not expect whatsoever in pregnancy, and it kind of blew my mind. Number 1, insomnia. This was the first sign I was pregnant. So obviously, an even better sign was that I missed my period. But the thing was, I had a period the month before that was 14 days. 2 effing weeks, okay? So when my period was a little bit late, it was about 3 days late, I was like, well, I had 14 days of a period before. So of course, this one's not going to be the exact timing as it normally is. But then I had 3 days of insomnia, waking up from 1 to 3 in the morning and being wide awake, not being able to go to sleep. So what did I do? I took a pregnancy test. I was like, something's off. Took a pregnancy test. and it was positive. I thought that insomnia would go away. It did not. It has stayed this entire pregnancy. And it was much worse in the first and second trimester. In the third trimester, I've been able to sleep through the night. But when I say sleep through the night, I still wake up about 8 times per night because I'm uncomfortable. I'm in a weird position. I have to pee. I just wake up. I feel too hot. I'm too cold. There's a million different reasons why I wake up. But in the first and second trimester, the insomnia was so painful. I would sleep maybe an hour to an hour and a half at night and then be up the entire rest of the night until the next morning. And it got so bad, I was hallucinating. I couldn't really speak. I was crying all day long because I was just so exhausted. It was brutal. That insomnia was crazy. But the hardest part was none of my doctors, none of my body workers could really figure out what was going on. Something I figured out just by trial and error was my supplements were not helping. And I figured this out because I would not take my supplements one day because I felt super nauseous and taking pills was so exhausting. I would throw them back up and it was just miserable. So when I wouldn't take my supplements, things like zinc, my prenatal, my athletic greens, whatever I was taking pre-pregnancy, well, when I would take them, I didn't sleep hardly at all. When I didn't take them, I would get maybe an hour more of sleep. So I told my acupuncturist this, and she was able to look back at my health chart and all my different blood panel, my urine panel, my fecal matter panel that I did with my functional medicine doctor. And since I have a slow liver detox pathway, which I found out through my functional medicine doctor, she said I would stay away from the supplements because your liver is having to work on overdrive right now and it can't process through all these supplements while it's having to work harder during pregnancy. So I cut my supplements out. I started sleeping better and better, I just started getting maybe like 3 hours per night. And then my acupuncturist would hit my liver spots, wherever that is in Chinese medicine. And I would actually sleep much, much better on the nights that I worked with my acupuncturist. But any medications that I took, any supplements, any actual medications, anything for sleep made my sleep worse. So the only thing that really helped was acupuncture and time. Nothing helped. And that was so frustrating about pregnancy because everyone was messaging me on Instagram and they're like, you gotta use Unisom, you gotta use this. None of that worked. It actually made my sleep worse when I would take any of the sleep medications. The only thing I didn't take was Ambien. I think you can take Ambien in pregnancy, but Ambien kind of freaks me out. So I stayed away from that. But hardly anyone I've talked to during pregnancy has dealt with early insomnia. It's always in the later stages at the end of the third trimester when you're super uncomfortable. Mine was at the beginning and it's getting better with time. But did I expect that? No, because it was not something that was ever talked about. Number 2, sciatica. Nobody talks about that either. I'd heard about sciatica just from athletes or just normal people, like on TV. I'd heard about sciatica, but I didn't know anything about sciatica. I just knew I was feeling pain from my tailbone and into my glute. And I didn't feel it into my leg like some people do, where it travels all the way down the leg. But it was so bad in my tailbone and my glute that I couldn't sit down. It hurt to walk. I would get these zingers that would almost break me. I would just fall to the ground. And then my workouts got super painful. It was debilitating. Did not expect that. I don't know many pregnant women who dealt with sciatica. I've heard from a couple people online, but not a ton. And so it took a lot of work. And this is where I had to really change how I was doing my finances and my budgeting, because I had to go see a pelvic floor PT, another PT. I was seeing a chiropractor, a massage therapist, acupuncturist, all of these people to help ease my sciatica. And obviously that takes a lot of fun. So I had to change everything around in my life to make sure that I could see these people to help me simply walk on a daily basis. And so I could sit comfortably, I could sleep comfortably. What the hell? Sciatica started as soon as I got pregnant. And then it just got progressively worse. So I had to see all of these body workers on a regular basis, and then I had to completely modify my workouts and change my workouts, not going into a deep squat, anything that was kind of moving my pelvis too much, I had to cut out. And then I had to start icing all the time. all the time. I probably ice my tailbone and my lower back 6 to 7 times a day to keep any of that inflammation at bay. At this point, I still get little zingers, but it has improved greatly by seeing the pelvic floor PT on a regular basis, by icing, by modifying greatly. Even the way I sit in my chairs, I pack a ton of pillows in my lower back just to keep myself nice and upright and I'm not slouching down, which is very easy during pregnancy. So I've had to change my lifestyle around, my budgeting around, my finances around, so much so just to stay comfortable during pregnancy. Sciatica is wild. It's a wild one. Number 3, this one's weird. Mucus. And I think this one's a pretty normal one because you have so much more mucus and blood in your body. For me, I have to clear my throat, I don't know, at least once every 5 minutes, if not more than that. I'm constantly clearing my throat. If you could actually see these videos unedited, it's me going, That's what my editor has to edit out all the time. So much mucus. So you're producing mucus here, you're producing mucus down below. I didn't know this. I didn't know that I would have to clear my throat at all times, like I had just gotten over bronchitis. You know what I did once? This is not recommended. I was at a big concert, festival, rave, and I was doing a fun psychedelic drug for the first time, and then a girl walked past me and said, "Put this in your mouth." Didn't question it. What did I do? I put it in my mouth. It was some tongue that was vibrating. How many people did she do that to through the night? I have no idea. But my friends watched in horror, and they didn't smack it out of my face like they should have. And what did I get? Bronchitis. And I coughed my life up until some antibiotics came into my life. But the clearing of the throat happened for months afterwards. Do not recommend, okay? Do not recommend. But that's how I feel all of pregnancy without the fun hallucinogenic experience. Mucus. Number 4, sex drive. Now, when I got pregnant, everyone was like, "Oh my God, you are going to have so much sex. You're going to be so horny." When I was pregnant, I couldn't get enough. Oh my God, are you horny all the time? So many questions about sex when I got pregnant. And I was the complete opposite. Now, a lot of things happened in the first and into the second trimester. In the first trimester, 2 weeks after finding out we were pregnant, our dog became paralyzed and had to have emergency surgery. And then we were taking him to a million different PT appointments and hyperbaric chamber and so many different things to help get him better. And then he passed away. So not only were we dealing with a paralyzed dog who we had to express his bladder 5 or 6 times a day, take him to multiple vet appointments, PT appointments, hyperbaric chamber. He was peeing on the floor. We were cleaning up all the time. And I was dealing with insomnia. Well, then he ends up passing away. Then I am completely swollen because now you have all these other liquids in your body. You got a lot of stuff going on. I had mucus. I had a huge swollen crotch. I had the biggest camel toe around. And all I talked about was how fat my crotch was to Brian. Not super sexy. I gained weight really fast. Didn't feel very sexy. I had crippling insomnia. I had terrible sciatica. So yeah, I wasn't feeling like my sexy self. Have I felt sexy in any of this pregnancy? 0%. 0. To the women out there who do, that is fantastic for you. That is not my journey. It's definitely not my journey. So sex drive is in an all-time low. Now, in the third trimester, it's picked up a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit more frisky. But the problem is, now I have a belly that I look down at as any act is going on, and I'm thinking about our daughter in there. It's hard to compartmentalize these two things that are going on, where you're getting physical with the person you love so much while you're growing a human who's kicking inside of you. It's all kind of a mind f***. And then getting into positions where you feel sexy. I don't know. I don't have any of those positions. But something I did find out on a podcast, don't know how true this is, it's just like hearing something on the internet, is that people who have more sex in pregnancy have lower rates of C-section. So I was all about that. And I asked my pelvic floor PT, and she said it's more about the oxytocin release that you get from orgasms. So it can be through sex, or it can be through, your own masturbation. So, pull out a toy, have a good time by yourself, trying to not look down at your big belly and think about that while you're trying to think about something that turns you on. I find it very difficult, honestly, but those toys do come in handy. That is for sure. The other thing that I found in pregnancy, and I have zero idea if other women experience this, no clue, is when you climax, when you get an orgasm, God, I hope my parents never watch this shit. Well, of course, your abs tighten up. Your body kind of tenses up in a way. Well, that in turn often causes a Braxton Hicks contraction. So then I have this big contraction that's a hardening of the uterus that balls up, and you look down and you have this hard uterus going on. And that is not super comfortable. It's not uncomfortable, but it's not very comfortable. So that kind of ruins the ending experience. It's all weird. The one thing that has been true that people have said is crazy sex dreams. The sex dreams I have had blow my mind. And nobody really likes to hear the dreams that you have. Like, who cares? But these sex dreams are wild, and they wake you up, sometimes climaxing. So, little oxytocin release there, not too bad. Now, number 5, last but not least, the thing I did not expect during pregnancy at all is to want to go an unmedicated birth route. Before I got pregnant, I'd been told by all my friends, get the epidural. Don't think anything of it. Just get it. You'll be so much more comfortable. Of course, that makes complete sense in my head. And I always thought, oh my God, a C-section would just be so easy. And I've heard that from other women, that they felt their C-section was super easy, which is crazy because it's big time surgery. But the more research I did start doing during pregnancy, the more I felt pulled towards an unmedicated birth. To me, when I think about it, women have been giving birth since the start of our history, and they did it without any medical intervention. And of course, we had all kinds of different things that happened along the way. Women died, children died, all, of course, terrible things. And medical intervention has become insanely helpful in so many different ways. But with the more research I did, the more I found that hospitals around us had pretty high C-section rates, higher than the national average. And that didn't make me feel super comfortable. I didn't want to have a C-section personally if I didn't have to. I just felt pulled towards that. And then I also found out what Pitocin does when you're trying to induce and trying to get things going. The contractions are much closer together and they're much more painful. And so oftentimes women can't take it anymore. And then women often go the C-section or epidural route because their bodies are so exhausted and they just don't have anything left in them. So I felt more pulled towards an unmedicated birth. And this is a crazy controversial topic, just like saying that you don't like pregnancy. Women get so up in arms if you say you want to have an unmedicated birth and they didn't, or you say you want to get a C-section and a person thinks you should get an unmedicated birth. People are so opinionated about it. And to me, I wanted to feel very comfortable in my birthing experience. And I've had really bad experiences at hospitals from an early age when I was pretty sick and on, and I've never felt comfortable when I walked into a hospital. So when I found out about a birth center, which was an unmedicated birth, I felt really pulled towards that. And when I walked into the birth center, I saw the birthing rooms, I met with the midwives and the nurses. I felt so incredibly comfortable, especially because the hospital is less than 3 minutes away. It's literally across the street. And so I felt comfortable with any emergency that had to take place. I'd be able to get to a hospital in an easy amount of time. But I never thought I would want an unmedicated birth. I never thought I would want to go through that. Some people call it pain. Some people call it an intense feeling. Whatever it is that I haven't experienced, I never thought I would want that. And here I am, looking at the birth center route, hoping it goes my way, knowing that things could change, an emergency could happen, I could feel completely drained, and knowing that an epidural could actually help alleviate some of that stress and built up anxiety in the body and could lead to a quicker birth later on. I'm very open to all ideas, but it's been really cool to get back to what's important to me, what makes me feel the most comfortable. And to me, that was a birth center. To other people, that's a hospital. To other people, that's their home. Whatever it is, you have to find what works best for you and not listen to the outside noise, because I have had a lot of outside noise through Instagram, through friends, through family. There's a lot of outside noise, and you got to find what's right for you. And I listened to what was calling inside of me, and I felt really comfortable with that so far. So we'll have to see how birth goes. Pregnancy has not been anything I thought it would be, honestly, whatsoever. I thought I'd feel better in workouts. I thought I would sleep better. I thought I would have more of a sex drive. I just thought it would be not enjoyable, but a little bit more enjoyable. And, I don't love it. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but I am grateful as hell for our little girl who's coming in 2 short months from now. That's pretty freaking exciting. So I can't wait for that next chapter. I'm just ready to close this one, to let this one be, Now I want to hear from you. What was the thing that surprised you the most when you got pregnant? Was it the mucus? Was it depression? Did you deal with any depression? What did you deal with that you really weren't expecting during pregnancy? And you know what? If you felt awesome, share that too. Don't feel like you can't share that you loved pregnancy, because I've had friends who said they feel like they can't share that because so many people like it. That's okay if you enjoy something and someone else doesn't. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't share your beautiful experience. So share it all in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, I have a couple more videos coming up I think you're gonna enjoy. I'm Juli Bauer Roth of PaleoMG. Thank you so much for joining me.